Hello, welcome to People in Perspective. I'm Sabrina, and my guest for this edition is Father Scott from Chicago. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sabrina. It's a great honor to be with you today.
Thank you. So I guess we'll start with the first question. When was Mercy Homes founded?
So Mercy Home for Boys and Girls, which is located in the city of Chicago, has been there for 125 years.
Oh, wow.
It was founded in 1887, and it has always been a home for children who otherwise wouldn't have a home. And so in the traditional sense, it was called an orphanage, but nowadays it's a residential care facility for adolescents who otherwise would not have a home.
Interesting. I know it's for 13 and up, right?
Correct.
And it's for boys and girls. How many boys and how many girls do you have?
That's a great question. So the home currently living with us has 140 teenagers from the ages of 13 all the way up to 21, 22 years old. And that's what we call our residential program. So these are children who come and they live with us, and we provide food and therapy and their clothing and their medical and a good education. But in addition to that, we have a program where we're out in the community working with children called Friends First. These would be children who are at risk, children who aren't going to school, children getting involved with the gangs, getting involved with drugs or with alcohol, children who don't have good parenting. So we work with the families right in the community, and in that group we have about 100 children, teenagers. And then we have another program called Aftercare, and our Aftercare program is a program that takes care of teenagers who have been a part of Mercy Home but are continuing to move on in their lives. So we support 60 young people in college right now, and other children who have either gone back home or back into the community or are now working. So we take care of about 500 children every day.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
It certainly is.
How do kids find their way to Mercy Homes?
There's another great question. So Mercy Home is a privately funded home. We take no money from the state and from the government, so we have to raise our own money. And so we take very few young people from the state system. The children who come to Mercy Home are coming from broken families. Oftentimes they're referred by a grandparent who's taking care of them and can no longer take care of them, or a mother who has 5 or 6 children and the young person's getting in trouble and says, I just can't do it any longer. Sometimes school counselors, sometimes religious priests or pastors or probation officers. Those are the ways in which children come and go through our interview process.
Wow. What's the average day like for the kids?
So the average stay, the youngest a person can come to Mercy Home is 6th grade. So our history has always been working with adolescents from 6th grade up to 21, 22 years old. So the youngest they can come is 6th grade, and they can stay with us through the grade school years, the rest of them, all through the high school years and into the college years as well.
Where do they all go to school?
So when a young person comes to Mercy Home, they're usually about 2 years behind in school for a number of reasons. And so what we do is we try to find the best school possible that'll match their talent, their skill. So if they're a very gifted student, by chance, they could go to Ignatius High School, for instance. But most of them go to high schools or to grade schools in the area. In fact, of the 140 children who are living with us right now, they're in about 50 different schools because we want to match them according to their academic ability. And then when they come home from school, so that they get caught up to grade level, we do tutoring programs with them and after-school programs with them as well.
Oh, wow. Can you tell us about the new building that was donated to you?
Sure. So I mentioned that we have this continuum of care. So in the community, we're doing a Friends First program, kids who are at risk in the community. Then we're working with the young people who live with us, residential care.
Yep. And
then our aftercare program, those children who have lived with us and are moving on with their lives. Well, we got a building donated to us. It's a 22-unit apartment building. We completely renovated the inside of it, and it will be a home for young people who have finished high school or have finished college, and it'll be their first place where they'll live independently. And so what we're calling it is affordable living, so we're going to help them with their rent, and transitional living. They can live there for about 3 years to really learn what it means to keep up a household or an apartment before they go on and live independently.
How is Mercy Homes financed?
So as I mentioned earlier to you,
Yeah.
so no, this is a great question. It's a good one to ask a second time. So we don't take state money. We're 99.7% privately funded. So we have about 250,000 donors from all over the country who believe in this mission of caring for children who are truly in need, and they help support and fund us. So we have to raise a great deal of money to make this work every single year.
Wow. Now going back to the new apartments, is there a certain age that they have to be to live there?
Sure. So this would be for young people who can live independently. So the youngest they would be about 19 years old.
Yeah.
And probably from 19 anywhere up to 24, 25 years old will be the first group that'll come and start living in the apartment building. And that apartment building will be open June 1st. So we're just about done. We're doing, putting in the appliances and the floors and doing the painting right now.
So do all the kids get along together? No fights?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So we have 14 homes at Mercy Home for boys and girls. So 14, and in each home, 10 teenagers live. And I'm surprised at how well they do live together. And the other thing that I'm surprised of, and I think it's a wonderful thing, is that the children who live there come from the African American community, from the Hispanic community, from the Anglo community, from the Asian community, and they come together with some common history. They've had pretty rough lives, but they live together pretty well in community. Every once in a while, teenagers are teenagers, so we have some difficulties, but we learn how to resolve our difficulties, you know?
That's good.
Yeah.
So what do the kids do for fun on the weekends?
Just what any other teenager would do. I mean, it's a structured program, but they have time. We have a gymnasium, so they can go play in the gym. We take them down to go ice skating this time of year. Sometimes we get tickets to the Bulls games or to the Sox games or Cubs games or the Bears games, which is wonderful. So we'll take them to sporting events. They go to the movies, just the same things the teenagers here at Riverside do.
Wow, that's good. They have a normal life structure. Do the kids have like extra study time or like, I guess, tutors that come often?
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that because as I mentioned earlier, most of the young people are behind in school when they come to us. So we get them in the best school possible, and then they do homework after school, and then every student has a tutor 5 days a week who sits down and makes sure that they get their homework done 5 days a week. And then we also have after school programs so that they can explore interests that they might have. So if they're interested in music, or if they're interested in yoga, if they want to learn how to cook, we provide those programs as well.
Okay, thank you. That's all the time we have on the show. Thank you for joining me on People in Perspective. I'm Sabrina Connor. Thanks for watching.